And we're also going to be testing sound tonight. Yay! I am just playing with sound levels right now, because that is always super duper fun. So, I suppose, I have played through the park before. I did not want to do the second playthrough, though, until I was streaming it. So, I mean, I do kind of know how it goes, but I still really like the game. Yeah, I know, right? Super, super exciting. This would be one of my half-sleep nights. It's alright. We're trying to get this posted over on my other thing, too. And I'm chat. Okay, yeah, we're gonna want to do a new game. If my sound's off, by all means let me know. I played around with some of the sound settings, so in theory it should be alright. But, you know, that's what you guys are for, right? Yes, I want to overwrite my save file. See, I'm very, very partial to the park because I am a huge fan of the Secret World. But this being a spin-off of the Secret World, kind of partial to this one.
In my heart and mind, I always return to Atlantic Island Park.
Where's Mr. Bear?
I haven't seen Mr. Bear, Callum. Stay in the car. I'll go and ask information.
There we go. That helps if it wants to cooperate. Now, I know I totally missed one of the achievements the first time I played through, because I was a little too eager to get into the park. This is one of the pluses of it being technically a second playthrough, but I was kind of zooming the first part. You get a lot more backstory on this place if you do play the Secret World. I mean, it's still a neat game, even without it. I am looking right now, because I know there's a sheet of paper out here that I caught on one of the dev streams, but I never actually picked it up in-game. Now the question is am I actually coming through in chat? Because the last time we adjusted the audio settings, I found out I was muted partway through the stream, which makes it that much less entertaining, I'm sure. Of course, at least I was co-streaming that time, which would be one of the reasons I didn't notice. Like, oh, you can hear everyone except me. That's helpful.
Attention patrons, the park is now closed. Please make your way to the car park at your earliest convenience.
Oh, hey!
Employees
Yay,
prepare the park
Arlie!
to shut down.
Now, I don't know, Arlie, did you ever get a chance to play this, or no? Because I don't remember. Okay. Well, this up here is an example of Joel knowing his players far too well.
What am I thinking? I can't leave. No! I have things I need to do in the park.
Ah, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, it really is. And I'm super amused because I'm trying to turn back around here. Because I know it doesn't actually let you leave. There we go. Anyway, what I was saying is Joel knew his players. You know, not that it's only Secret World players, but he had to put something up there for those of us who are going to try to run away. Which one? Oh, that would be my, stream chat deciding not to cooperate the way it's supposed to. Now, why in the world? Yeah, that's just my scene not cooperating. I can just take it out. What the black box is supposed to be is showing you guys on the stream chat. And usually cooperates. See, and Arlie, I never got into EverQuest. I really, really wanted to, but I knew a few too many people that were a little too hooked on it. Well, if Arlie's in here, then I'm going to try to figure out where the thing went that I keep missing. But then I actually avoided MMOs for the longest time. I probably mentioned that once or twice on a Tiger stream. I'm such a damn completionist. Well, Arlie, perhaps you will just have to trust me. There's a scrap of paper out here that I managed to keep missing. It's actually... I forget how far you got in the secret world. Oh, yeah. Well, I want to say for a while one of the guys I played Minecraft with, I want to say he worked on EverQuest. I think that's the MMO he was on. But yeah, there's a message out here, spoilers, from the League of Monster Slayers. It's got a nice little story about the park, and a warning for all the other League members to stay away. But, you know, much more entertaining if I can remember what it actually is.
Callum was born the day this place opened. This is his favorite place in the world.
Oh, that automatically paused me when I went on the other screen. Sorry. I love this. May this park be a place where joy and laughter are gathered and used to infect all of those who follow after. More Secret World stuff. And Arlie, do stop me, because I don't know how much of Savage Coast you've played through, and it's going to be a little spoilery for that too. But there's one of the missions that you do in the Secret World out at Atlantic Island goes into some of the back history with this park. And a piece of the back history involves somebody who is literally using the park to collect energy, to raise things he shouldn't, and, you know, otherwise try to cheat his way into magic power that he doesn't actually have. It's very dark, unsurprisingly, being the Secret World. And then...
What?
Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine! Don't blame yourself, Lorraine. People lose things all the time. Take a deep breath and think about the last place you saw your son's teddy bear. Hey, stop! I think your boy just ran into the park. I'll unlock the gates for you.
I maintain that park employee looks creepy. He just does not actually look like a nice person to me. Yes.
Wait up there for Mommy, Callum.
Over here.
I know a few people have argued with Joel that, you know, why isn't Lorraine running at this point? Why isn't she upset? But you think about it, as far as she knows, everything's fine. The kid's just being
There's
a
something
snot at a theme
special
park.
about the entrance to an amusement park. A line drawn between the real world and the world of whimsy within. On this side, the apathy of our everyday lives. And on the other, anything we might dare to dream. It's no wonder Callum ran back inside. I wouldn't want to leave either.
Attention employees, the park is now closed. Have a safe journey home.
And yes, Arlie, it's the porn stash. But Joel's point, and from other parents I've talked to, is that really, at the beginning of the game, you know, your kid's just being a snot. You're not gonna run after him panicked, because as far as you know, he's just wandering back into the park.
Oh God. The park. What happened here? Callum, come back here right now!
Everyone will be
Callum?
happy and run.
It's easy to get lost here.
My first playthrough especially, I didn't really want to run through a lot of it. A lot of it really is. It's an atmospheric game, which doesn't come off
You can't catch me.
perfectly well when I'm streaming anyway.
Stop! Callum!
I love little creepy things. I'm kind of curious in this part too. Because as the person playing the game, it's creepy that it went dark. And she knows something's up at this point, but...
Where did you go?
This way.
Carrie Killian here. That's another one. Arlie, if you played through anything that's related to the Black House. I think I'm getting my name right there. Just actually, I like that they did this in this game because they do have a lot of shout-outs to the secret world, but it's not something you need to play the game. Like, you've got your base story here. Your mom, your kid ran off. Amusement park is freaky.
Callum! Where did you go?
Over here.
I think this belongs to Callum. Callum? Where'd you go?
Catch me, Mommy.
And there we have that damn chipmunk.
Chad the Chipmunk, huh? Just a drunk guy in a suit.
Chad the Chipmunk welcomes you to Atlantic Island Theme Park. Chad can be seen in daily ice sculpture shows in the following locations. 11 a.m. Sideshow Alley, 1 p.m. the Octotron, and 3 p.m. the park entrance. Yes, exactly. Tidbits for the lore hounds, tidbits for the lore nerds. And then you've got Chad the Chipmunk, worst in class. Chad can't even seem to pass. Chad gets angry, likes to fight. Chad is beaten every night. Chad will have a dead-end job. Chad will die a useless slob. And Chipmunk. Every time I walk by, I swear there's something up here, and it's just the restrooms. I know. Oh, and Arlie, speaking of restrooms, there's one for Tiger. Some games do have bathrooms. What are you wanting me to pick up? Did I walk by something again? Yes, I did. Oh yes, and I actually have feet.
What's this?
It is a slip of a larger note, which reads, "Purchase the land on Solomon Island for pittance, I might add. Whatever old Archie Henderson did to the locals, just the mention of his name had people slamming doors and locking shutters from the moment I arrived on the island. There, Archie Henderson, that's something you'll get more of in the secret world. Hi, in chat, hi, play. My lawyers had arranged everything in advance, but the realtor still had to come deliver the keys to me personally. He took it upon himself to offer me another warning. I don't know what you're planning to do with this land, Mr. Winter, but the soil here is bitter with a curse carried from the old country. Old man Henderson, he did terrible dark things. The land remembers, sir." I dismissed him shortly afterwards, mostly amused by his pathetic attempts at warning me off. I have a great vision for this place, the will to see that vision through to the very end. Atlantic Island Park. The name is perfect, and I cannot imagine it being anything else. This is the start of something amazing. You know, actually, in this one, we don't have to go into the restrooms. Someplace in the secret world, yes, here, no. That line there about not being able to, imagine any name other than Atlantic Park. I don't remember the specifics anymore, but I forget if it was on a Beyond the Veil show or if it was on the dev stream that Joel did a while back. But he was talking about something about somebody wanting him to change the name, and I don't know. I should go back and go back and listen to it so I could give you the actual story. But it was kind of hilarious, and that was a little dig in there about them wanting to change the name.
Come out, sweetie.
Come on, Mommy.
Where are you?
Come on, this way.
This is the point where even not having my own kids, I'm like, really, you little bugger?
Come out, sweetie.
Come back here.
Over here.
Mommy doesn't want to run after you.
I'm not playing anymore, Callum. Callum, stay where you are. Wait for Mommy.
Come on, Mommy.
And something some people miss is you can actually see Callum going in there. I don't know that I was pointed the right direction. Or is it? No, it's not the one that just went by. So that is the logic for her wandering in here when she's looking for her kid, that you can't actually
Stop,
see him,
Callum!
actually see him go in there.
Where are you?
There's swan boats. There's swan boats out in Kaiden too.
Don't hide from me, Callum.
Okay, you did see him then.
Callum, where did you go? Callum, where did you go?
Near a great forest, there lived a poor woodcutter, his wife and his 2 children. A boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. They were very poor and had very little to bite or sup.
I love that her voice echoes in here when you call for
What
Callum.
will become of us? The woodcutter asked his wife one night. I tell you what, husband, we will take the children into the thickest part of the forest tomorrow and abandon them there. No, my wife, I cannot do that, said the man. Then we will all 4 starve, you fool. Hansel and Gretel overheard their parents talking, and Gretel began to weep. Do not fret, Gretel, Hansel said. He crept out of the hut and gathered white stones from the ground to fill his pockets. The next morning, the woodcutter leads the children into the forest. Before they leave, their mother gives them a slice of bread and warns them that they will get no more food that day. Clever Hansel leaves a trail of white stones behind them as they pass into the woods. When their father leaves them, the children wait a while, then follow the trail back to their parents' house. After receiving a thorough scolding from their parents for getting lost in the woods, the children are sent to bed without any supper. Hansel tried to sneak out and collect more white stones, but found that the door was locked. Tomorrow I will take them into the woods myself, the wife told the woodcutter. In the morning, their mother gave them a slice of bread and led them deep into the forest once again. Hansel broke his bread into pieces and left a trail of breadcrumbs to lead them safely home. But hungry-eyed birds snatched up the breadcrumbs and his trail was destroyed. Abandoned by their parents and unable to find the trail home, the children wandered in the forest for 3 days. The children stumbled into a clearing with an exceedingly strange house. Its walls were made of gingerbread, and its windows were panes of clear sugar. Hansel, desperately hungry, ran forward and began to nibble on the walls. Nibble, nibble, little mouse. Who is nibbling at my house? An old woman emerged from the house, sniffing the air and peering around with cloudy eyes. Oh, you dear children, who brought you here? Just come in and stay with me. No harm will come to you. But Hansel and Gretel stayed back, for the old woman reminded them of their cruel mother. Come, children, don't be afraid. I have something for you. The old woman offered them 2 enormous lollipops. The children took them and began to eat. You see, nothing to fear here. Come inside, the old woman urged, and the children, still licking their sweets, followed.
It is lovely narration.
Once inside the house, the old woman changed. She stuffed Hansel into a cage and put Gretel to work, sweeping and cleaning her hut. Your brother will make a good mouthful, the old witch told Gretel. Once he is fattened up, I shall feast upon him. Time passed, and poor Hansel refused to eat, fearing the day that the witch would eat him. The witch, for her part, grew impatient. Today I will cook and eat your brother, Gretel. Climb inside and light the oven. But Gretel pretended not to understand. I do not know how. Where is the opening? Fool, the old witch said. The opening is here. And she moved to show Gretel. Seizing her courage, brave Gretel gave the witch a shove, and the old crone tumbled forward into the oven. Gretel slid a large iron bolt over the door to the oven. Gretel freed her brother Hansel, and together they lit a fire beneath the oven. And though she screamed and begged, the children sat by the oven until her screams had stilled, and the witch was cooked. And then, because even children can't survive on sweets, they divided up the body of the old witch and ate her.
The end. The first time I played this, I was so busy looking around, I just caught that just as it was turning away from me.
Callum! Callum!
This way.
God, when that kid whispers, it's creepy.
Callum!
Follow the trail.
What if I don't want to follow the trail? This is creepy, kid.
Hansel and Gretel. I used to read it to Callum when the electricity was shut off. Those poor children. The whole world against them. The forest, the birds, the old witch, even their own parents. I used to imagine that Callum and I were the kids in that story. Not mother and son, but brother and sister, hand in hand against the unkind world. We were always hungry, Looking for our own house made of candy. Looking for the sweetness that could take the pain away. Hunger leads people to desperate, terrible places where the tree branches reach like claws.
I love that looking around this park. If you didn't know this was a horror game, and if weird shit wasn't happening, you'd think, oh, this is really kind of pretty. Earlier, see, I want to stop because I don't want to cut off her dialogue if she starts talking again. When you're in the cave, when you're in the swan boat, and in a few other places, this is hardly the first game ever to give little, audio-visual clues when creepy things are happening. But the way they cued the noises, and just kind of the way they present it here, it does lead me to remember just a little bit of what it's like to have an actual panic attack. Because I've had those. That's not ever a fun thing to do, but just the little bit of blurry vision and just the way the sound design goes, it actually does remind me a little bit of that.
Mommy needs to see you, Callum.
Catch me, Mommy.
Callum, tell Mommy where you are. Another accident. This place.
It's not a happy teddy bear. Despite the constant interruptions to work, Atlantic Island Park will be opening on time. The governor is booked to cut the ribbon, so the only real question is whether we will have any customers. I'm not truly worried. The customers will come out of simple curiosity. I deduced what was needed from the band writings of Archie Henderson's... It's astonishing to think that a resonance of positive emotions can be used to fuel such a process. Henderson himself chose to use negative, and that caused some of the taint that still lingers in this place. I will not make his mistakes. Very soon I will know if this has all been for nothing. Yes, screwing around with creepy theme parks where bad things have happened and people have deliberately tried to suck out negative energy sounds like a great idea, Mr. Winter. That just sounds wonderful.
Callum! Where did you go?
This way, Mommy.
No, you're coming back to Mommy, because this shit's getting creepy. You're gonna come back to Mommy and we're gonna go home.
Callum!
I will catch you, kid.
Hello? Stop! Callum!
Mother Duck said quack, 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 quack.
If you saw the trailer for this movie... this game...
Come to Mommy, Callum.
Over here.
That Octotron also has some very specific memories with the secret world.
Callum, where are you? This old thing used to make the blood run to my head. Make me dizzy. The guy just snapped. Those poor kids.
This would be another part of the dark past. Yeah, totally not creepy looking in the dark in the distance. Once again, and I can't help babbling about the secret world, but when you talk to Winters' son in the park, he mentions a case where some employee in a chipmunk outfit freaked out and gouged a couple kids' eyes out. This is written by Norma Creed, who you should remember even early on into the game. The officer on duty was Sheriff Bannerman. Andy's statement. We were waiting for our turn on the ride, Frank and me and the boys. This fellow in the chipmunk suit is making nice carving while people took photographs. Lawrence wanted to go over to him, but I've always been a bit wary of those suits. They give me the creeps. It's silly, I know. Anyway, the chipmunk man, he was carving and picking away at the ice. And at first we thought he was making some animal, like a tiger or a lion, but as more and more ice fell away, when you first looked, it was like a human face smiling out of that block of ice. But the more you looked at it, the more you saw that there was something not quite right about the proportions, something unnatural. It made your heart begin to beat just a little faster, like you were prey and that thing in the ice was a hunter. But then these teenagers walked up, and one of them made a face at the carving and said something rude to the guy in the chipmunk suit, and then he went berserk. For a few minutes it was chaos. Everyone was running away from the guy who had one of the teenagers on the ground, and he was stabbing with the ice pick, and the blood was spraying, and the people were screaming. And Frank and I had the kids, and we were dragging them away as fast as we could. And the last thing I saw before Frank dragged me away was that the eyeball of one of those poor kids had landed on the ice sculpture, making that horrible creature look more or less alive. Atlantic Island Park is not a nice place. And not nice things happen in it. This is where I break our immersion a little bit, because I actually am pretty sure there's something out here that I missed my first playthrough.
Oh, I remember this.
I love that this actually doesn't look like a very nice picture. I mean, I don't mean they didn't do it well, but I mean, it looks like a Polaroid. And Polaroids do not always come out all that pretty. This looks like the kind of face I give when people take a picture. Either that or my eyes are shut. I'm very good at the eye shut thing. But you can also kind of see someone back here that, you know, doesn't look super pleasant. Okay, Dan Opticon. Oh, look, it's Chad. Hi, Chad.
Wait, Callum!
I'll catch you, kiddo. I will catch you.
I can't get on while it's moving. Mommy needs to see you, Callum.
You want to just take a flying leap at it, Lorraine? I don't want to get on it at all. Yeah, the ambient music is definitely Secret World. Yeah, this is one of the things, as a player, I want to get on the Octodron. As a character in the story, I do not. But this is not good.
Treachery hides in thoughts. Treachery that lashes like a whip and scars our insides. The first time I saw Callum, my thoughts betrayed me. I looked down at this wrinkled, red, bawling thing and I thought, is that it? We build our world from expectations, and the world that I had built for Callum was no different. He was so real, so there, and so far from my expectations. And they shattered, and as they fell in pieces, that one treacherous thought became a new foundation. All of the love that we shared, all of the warmth and goodness that followed, built on a single, traitorous thought.
I love Lorraine's character. I really, really absolutely love what they did with her. And I know it helps that, you know, Joel and his wife are parents, and I know that, you know, his wife is, I'm gonna get it wrong, psychologist, psychiatrist, one of the two. But they did such a good job, just with who she is. We have another note. I thought working in the park for summer would be a lot of fun, but the end of the season here really drags. There aren't that many tourists around, and so most of the staff spend their days standing around gossiping. And most of that gossip is about Chad. I mean Steve. See, even I'm starting to call him Chad, and I went to school with the guy. It's that goddamn suit, I can read. In the beginning it was a laugh. Steve, the local lush, is Chad the Chipmunk, child-friendly mascot at Atlantic Island Park. Lock up your daughters and all of that. But the more he wears that suit, the weirder Steve is getting. At first it was little things, like refusing to change out of the suit at work, and taking it home with him every day. But then I saw him at Susie's Diner, also Secret World location, still wearing it, and it wasn't even a work day. Some of the staff complained discreetly to park management about the smell, and I saw him walking and talking with Mr. Winter, the owner, one day. But nothing seems to have changed. The suit still smells like a carcass whenever Steve walks by, and apparently Steve has picked up some new skills since last time I saw him puking up in a gutter outside the sinkhole I can never say sinkhole station. Because he sure as hell can carve a mean ice sculpture. Those shapes he makes in ice, though, they give me the creeps. Steve came by the booth today, lucky me, and he just hung around for a while. I couldn't really tell because of the suit, but it seemed like he was just staring at me. Sizing me up, or eye-fucking me, whatever he was doing. I asked him what he wanted, and he just stood there, not saying anything. Eventually I called my supervisor, and when he came by, Steve wandered off. My supervisor told me to put everything in writing, so here it is. Also, I quit. I don't want to see that chipmunk suit ever again. Laura Hinman. Time I played this, I must have accidentally double-clicked the note. Because I got that right away. Yeah, Lorraine, see, this is where... yeah. If this was my kid, he would be so grounded for life after this.
Come back, Callum!
This way.
See, and the voice work right there. She's doing the pleasant, the pleasant voice to get her kid back, and you can hear just underneath that, I am super irritated now, kiddo.
Callum, stay where you are!
The lady they got for Lorraine did amazing, amazing, amazing voice work in this.
Wait, Callum!
This way, Mommy.
Come back!
Yeah, I'm sure you're having fun, kiddo. Mommy's
Constant crashes and 80s music. Guess it floats someone's boat.
Possibly tigers. Hello in chat. Yeah, constant crashes and 80s music. Yeah, Tiger would be into that, right? guy who looks like a dwarf. No, Dark Crypt's been my screen name for you don't even want to know how long, because it'll probably date me. Now, that scene there, Arlie, what I find interesting is it seems like people kind of go two ways with that. The people I know, the players I know, and especially the women I know, who have had mental health issues of one sort or another and are kind of aware that it used to be, you know, electric shock used to be much, you know, a thing and all of that. This is where they kind of start having more sympathy for Lorraine, and then the people who haven't necessarily had that experience might kind of lose him a little bit. Yeah, since 42. Totally. Yeah. I was I was playing MMOs, you know, on two rocks I banged together. Yeah. Yeah. And this right here, this was when I first walked in here. It was so awesome. Again, and that's the secret world player coming out. Because you have a few different things that happen in the bumper cars in the game. And being able to actually walk around the area is kind of creepy bizarre. No, I did not play Ultima Online at launch. We were actually just discussing earlier that I avoided MMOs for the longest time because I am a super completionist when I game, and I knew MMOs would probably suck me in, and so they did. This one is an accident report. So yeah, the accident was in 1976. Laborers working on a crane. Lawrence Creed. I don't know if it's been confirmed. That's not Norm's husband, is it? Okay, I missed, yeah. You have actually called that correctly, girl. Yes, 32. I still get carded for liquor, it's fabulous. So yeah, I forget if Lawrence is actually Norma Creed's husband or not. Brief description of the accident or incident. During the transport of the bumper cars into the arena, one of the straps attaching the load to the trunk came untied, causing a cascade of bumper cars onto Francis, who was standing directing the driver. Francis was crushed by the weight of the cars. Describe any injuries caused. Francis was killed. Did the injured employee see a doctor? Yes. If yes, did you file the employee's portion of a workers' compensation form? Yes. Supervisor's comments. Dexter, the truck driver, claims to have seen someone on the back of the load undoing the straps. No one else reported seeing that. The sheriff has requested that Dexter provide them with a urine sample. What could have been done to prevent this accident? Double checking of the straps after transit should be mandatory, and drug screenings for all drivers. The local laborers are very superstitious, and this hasn't helped. Some of them are refusing to work until we have someone from the local church walk through the park and exorcise the bad spirits. I find this ridiculously amusing. Oh, well thank you, Arlie. Oh, nice girl. See, okay, we're right in the right age then. I love this because it reminds me of an honest-to-goodness accident report at work, especially where you have to actually fill out, describe any injuries caused. Francis was killed. In a morbid, I wouldn't want to actually ever have it happen. I could see myself having to fill out something like that at work. Well, girl, it's a good time of year to be debating Steam games. The Steam sale is in fact still going on, I believe. And that's one of, excuse me, that's one of the things I mean, that in a lot of ways this is a much better game to play on your own than either streaming or watching it stream. Because if you're into this game, you know, if you're in the atmosphere, then that racing by is much more effective than if I've just been babbling about the Steam sale. Yeah, I can't look at the Steam sale anymore. because whatever spare money I had, I managed to order one of those GameStop bundles, and that is all of my gaming money from now until God knows when. Well, or the Secret World, darling. Yeah, I won't even lie. The first time I played this through, I did it at a crawl. I inspected every corner, and it was, yeah, my Secret World Geek Flag showing. It was absolutely wonderful.
It's a matter of public record that I am a failure as a mother. Once, when Callum was very small, I left him asleep in the car while I ran an errand. Don't even remember what it was. When I came back, the sheriff was standing next to the car, watching my boy through the window. Didn't like what I saw in his eyes. Judgment. He wrote me the ticket without saying a word. Just the scratch of his pen on the notepad. When he gave it to me, our eyes met. I know what you're going through. My daughter, Helen, she just gets some help. Help was a bolt of lightning. Help was 1,000 volts surging through my veins. Help is agony. I'd rather die. I wanted to scream. I'd rather you pulled your gun and shot me. But instead my mouth said, "Yes, Sheriff."
I think people miss out when they don't pay attention to Lorraine's dialogue.
Mommy is coming, Callum! Stay where you are! Where are you? Callum!
Screaming crying babies are never a good thing.
Stay where you are!
Okay, more notes from Winters. Continually delayed. That baby's creeping me out. Continually delayed by the incompetence of the builders. The problem is that they are locals, so they believe a lot of the rumors about what Old Man Henderson used to do here. They grew up on those tales. Every time a bolt comes loose or wrench goes missing, these fools are crossing themselves against the black magic. Of course, that is why I chose this site over all the other potentials. Solomon Island is a nexus for dark energies, and the thought of all that power just dissipating beneath the earth here, it makes my skin crawl. I called in a few favors back in Brooklyn, and got someone at the local academy to see if they had any interesting books about local history. Turns out they do, and it turns out that Old Man Henderson has some pretty strong connections to the Brooklyn crowd. Okay, as an Illuminati, no. He wanted to be one of us. Yeah, it is Dark Harley, sorry. And when I say an Illuminati, I mean in a secret board. Just, we'll put that out there. Old Man Henderson wanted to be one of the Illuminati. He was not one of ours. Perhaps something he wrote will help me find the piece of the plans that I am missing. Oop. I keep trying to hit escape. I'm still in MMO mode, and that's not the button I want to hit. Oh, and Arlie, it gets much darker, especially by the end. And much darker emotionally, in a very real way. Janet of Otterdown, when she played this, because she did her first playthrough streaming, and she didn't watch chat, she just played through, and she got to the end, and she is actually not the only one who, once she reached the very end, was just like, I'm not even gonna wrap this up, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna hug my kid, and signed off. And she plays the Secret World. She is used to dark storylines.
they are going to close this place down. Doesn't surprise me.
Inspection result: unsafe, close the park. Inspector's comments: after touring the park, riding the rides, and viewing the startling number of incidents suffered here in the park, it is this inspector's opinion that Atlantic Island Park should be shut down until Nathaniel Winter complies with all safety regulations. While I understand that there is a sensitive political relationship between Mr. Winter and the senator, I nevertheless suggest that such political considerations be set aside in condemning Atlantic Island Park. The rides at first glance appear well constructed and maintained, but the sheer number of incidents in the park during the last few years and during construction lead me to believe that there is something wrong at the base level of construction, and we should close the park and fully investigate these flaws. To wit, here's a partial list of the fatalities in the park since opening only 2 years ago. Family of 3 killed when a roller coaster cart derailed, 14 separate incidents of broken bones and crushed ribs while riding the Optitron, 3 suicides from the top of the Ferris wheel, a child seriously injured on the escalator, over a dozen children reported missing in the House of Horror since its construction, 1 report of drowning in the Tunnel of Tales. The sheer volume of incidents means that it is my strongest recommendation that Atlantic Island Park be closed immediately. Sloppy writer? I keep hearing that schools are gonna like stop teaching cursive, and that seems really bizarre to me. He's gonna tell me.
I can't get on while it's moving.
What if I don't want to get on it at all? Oh, I love this angle. Yeah, that looks totally safe. That looks like something you totally want to ride in the middle of the park where creepy shit is happening.
People come into your life for a reason. Dad used to say that before Mom ran off. After that, he mostly just drank. Things were different for Don and I. When we met, I was sweeping the floor at Susie's diner. He came in with some workers, but he didn't try to flirt or cop a feel like the others. He just ordered a coffee and sat there, watching me. When my shift was over, he offered to walk me home. I don't know how to describe that walk. We talked and laughed and eventually kissed. It felt like love. It felt like a fairy tale. I can't tell you if Callum was made that night or one of the ones that followed, but I think it has to be that night. That one perfect night. Don and I moved in together, but then, well, he died. According to the supervisor, his safety harness failed when he was working on the top of the Ferris wheel. Don was there one moment, and then gone. Sometimes people leave your life for no reason. I was 3 months pregnant with Callum. Fairy tale fucking over.
Did I mention I love her voice work and the lines I gave her? I do. There you go, Harley. Would I sleep in a coffin? Possibly a new one? I would not feel comfortable in sleeping in a used coffin. I don't know that I would necessarily be scared, but I would feel uncomfortable with that. I love her line right there. It's fairy tale fucking over. That tells you all. It tells you all you need to know about how that was.
where did you go? Where are you, Callum? Callum? Callum!
Oh, goody. A roller coaster ticket. That is exactly what I want.
A lot of people idolize their children. You hear them talking about their kids and just the way they talk, their fucking voices make me want to vomit. My angel likes to read, and little Johnny is so good on the piano. Fuck those people! You give up 9 months of your life carrying them, you traumatize yourself giving birth to them, and then you spend the rest of your life as their slave. Wiping asses, mopping up piss, feeding them. Little life-sucking monsters who take and take and take until... we all go insane. Any parent who pretends otherwise is just dishonest. That's called choice supportive bias. I am honest. Callum really grinds my gears, and he owes me everything. Everything. It'd serve the little fuck right if I just abandoned him.
And that's another part that I find interesting, that some people lose some of their sympathy for Lorraine there. But a lot of parents I talk to, they're like, yeah, those are the thoughts that parents, you know, you don't want to say it out loud, and you mean it in the moment when you're that mad. But nobody thinks their child is an angel all the time, because kids aren't. My brother and I were both little shits when we were little sometimes. Kids do that.
Callum, where did you go?
That is what I freaking hate. I hate when he starts being like, he's coming.
Callum! Tell Mommy where you are! Don't be afraid. I always wanted to ride this one. Never got around to do it before. Mommy is coming, Callum!
Right now for work, I am back in retail management. I was working there and at my local Humane Society for a while, but there aren't enough hours in the day, and I have some old student loan I need to pay back. But yeah, retail, and I never planned on making a career out of it, but oh, I'm sure I made my parents' life interesting too. Okay, I don't want to interrupt while we're actually doing the roller coaster, but just so Arlie can laugh at me, there is one particular platform up here that I can recognize, because again, in the secret world, it's the one where you get a specific achievement for scoping out the view. And yeah, riding this one, they've got the platform. No, I finally got out of Walmart. It took me 3 tries with the company before I said, screw you, I'm never coming back.
We need to talk about Callum.
What do you mean? What have you done to him?
Yeah, don't touch me.
That's insulting. You and your boy are everything that this place doesn't want. The antithesis of what we stand for.
Where is Callum?
The poor child. He tried so hard to do what he was taught. He even left you a trail of breadcrumbs. But the park is just so hungry.
Tell me where my son is.
The witch has him now. Has both of you. No happy ending here, I'm afraid.
Just Just leave me alone.
Fool, you always were.
No, it wouldn't help, Harley. No, the roller coaster itself I could handle. This is the first time I played this because I didn't notice the hands down here. And though partway through the ride, I'm just kind of looking around, and then I see the freaking hands right behind me. I'm like, this is not cool. This is not okay. That last scene, it was kind of interesting. So the night that we had Joel on Beyond the Veil, the night that we were talking with him and got to interview him about the park, I had asked him during that last scene, because we were talking about what it was meant to be, and I'm like, well, I always assumed that was supposed to be her flashing back to when she gave birth to Callum. Just the rushing through the doors, the lying back on the bed, like that gave me the impression of that stereotypical, run through the hospital giving birth thing. He said that was something they had considered, but the end product is actually supposed to be more in reference to how we're just starting to learn that Lorraine has maybe had some mental health issues, and that it's kind of supposed to tie into that, but that I wasn't entirely wrong for getting that impression from it either. Yeah, you too. No, I managed to avoid Target entirely. I worked at Walmart 3 different times in just that company. I'm in a smallish town, which also doesn't help the atmosphere. Yeah, no. I'm at a different wall now. I am at a Walgreens, and they seem a much more pleasant company. Oh god, in Walmart. Oh man, I've managed toys, I've managed electronics. I've done a full store remodel, I've done unloading, I've done softline processing, I was AP for a while. CVS is coming for me. It works. The calculations and adjustments worked. The transport and storage mechanism seemed to be flawless. What a wonderful day. If only these people knew what they were feeling. And so what if a few people leave the park at the end of the day feeling dour? So what if the children are more scared than excited on the roller coaster? This could be the doorway to immortality, and such doorways open only to those who have the will to find the key. But yeah, and what he's referencing there. Unloading actually it was fun, Arlie. You can get a really fun group of people back there. It's obviously not customer service oriented. And it sounds lame to say, oh, it's a really nice workout. But it feels good to be doing something like that day in, day out. OCD would not be ideal for Walmart unloading. You gotta go pretty fast. It is good for Tetris skills, though. Where am I walking? I did this last time I played, too. I'm like, wait, where am I walking again? Like I said, I love this because in between creepy shit, I mean, it looks fairly pretty, which it should. Oh, thank you, Goro. I worked today. I wasn't sure that I was really awake enough to hold up a streaming conversation, so I'm glad you enjoy. Thank you.
The witch awaits. Callum has bruises on his arms, finger marks. Someone has been hurting him! I've asked him, demanded really, to know where he got the marks. But he doesn't want to answer me. Something has scared him into silence. He doesn't dare talk. He's been changing too. Something sinister lurks in the darkness behind his eyes. I catch him staring at me at odd moments. In the night, he tosses and turns and cries out words that I cannot understand. When I try to soothe him, he snaps and bites at my fingers. I think he wants to talk to me. I think he wants to tell me. But they are watching him every minute of every day. They are whispering to him in his sleep, changing him. They are taking my baby away from me. I can't save him. There will be pain. But I love him, and in the end, he will understand why.
And that's another step down into it being a darker game. Okay, I guess fun games don't usually take place at night. I personally love a nice, pretty, clear night. Blame it on being an unrepentant teenage goth.
I can help you, Callum.
Don't let him take me.
Callum? Callum!
Mommy, I'm scared.
Speaking of this voice work, I love the fact...
I'm not playing anymore, Callum!
Follow the breadcrumbs.
I love the fact that lots of games do let you, say, shout for other characters. Shades of Jason! 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 But her voice acting is so good that it adds a level to the atmosphere, and that they let her and Callum kind of play off each other also really, I think, adds to it. It doesn't feel like a useless mechanic if you pay attention to what they're saying. It feels like just something else that sucks you in more. Can I go around?
This isn't a game, Callum!
Keep them away from me.
Come back!
What are you scared of?
I think there's probably a faster way to get where I'm going, and I lost track of it.
Callum, where are you?
Yeah, I think I just took the long way.
Callum? Callum!
Don't let the witch put me in the oven.
Yeah, I went the wrong way. In this specific game, I kind of like that I can get a little bit turned around. Again, in story and context, that works.
Come back!
What are you scared of?
I just stopped for something else entirely and noticed that the wind was moving the leaves. I like that.
I'm not playing anymore, Callum!
Keep them away from me.
It would be much easier if you'd run back towards me, Callum, instead of away.
I can help you, Callum.
Mommy, I'm scared.
This isn't a game, Callum!
Don't let him take me.
This is just where I want to be locked in.
The whole town was shocked by that one. Never found out who did it.
Cotton candy corpse leaves sour taste in park-goers' mouths. Yesterday evening, visitors to Atlantic Island Park were shocked and horrified by the discovery of a dismembered corpse behind the cotton candy stand. According to the local authorities, the corpse has yet to be identified. However, they have confirmed that the remains appear to be those of a child. The corpse was discovered by a group of teenagers from Innsmouth Academy. That would be a League of Monster Slayers, betcha, who noticed a pair of ravens tugging at something just out of sight behind the shack. Nathaniel Winter, the owner of Atlantic Island Park, has released the following statement. It is a true tragedy when something like this occurs, especially in a place that was designed to bring forth happiness and joy. The staff of Atlantic Island Park offer their condolences to the family and friends of the victim and will cooperate fully with authorities to help bring this case to rest. The Solomon Chronicle will provide daily updates on the story going forward. Yeah, lovely highlighter. See, I can't talk tonight. Headliner. The other thing I love is, again, I say again a lot, even without the Secret World background, you're catching through this, Ark Innsmouth, you're catching through this that Mr. Winter is trying to collect emotions. He's trying to collect energy from this park. So when he says things like, especially in a place that was designed to bring forth happiness and joy, it sounds like something fairly normal, but in context of the story, yeah, he is trying to bring forth happiness and joy so he can use that energy. I love how that lights up. Like, no, I don't want to go behind the cotton candy shack. Thank you. There's actually something else in here. It gets back over that way.
Callum! Callum!
Follow the breadcrumbs.
Poor bastard. Who did this to him? I'm not playing anymore, Callum!
Hello, friend. That's a pretty good microcosm of what Joel was doing with this game. And I mean, according to him. I'm not trying to speak for him. But again, the interview we did with Beyond the Veil and whatnot. I don't want to go too much into it. That'll kind of spoil where we're going with this here. but some of the quote-unquote jump scares that you see coming really kind of ties into the actual theme of the game.
Callum, where are you?
What are you scared of?
Oh, here's what I wanted you to see. I love this sign. The management is not responsible for diseases contracted via the kissing booth.
Come back!
Don't let him take me!
I can help you, Callum.
Don't let the witch put me in the oven!
These are mine.
All that you love will be carried away. And that bugs me because I know that's a quote, and right now I can't think what it's a quote from, but I know that line. Some kids laugh and some kids cry, but mostly children simply die. We have not safe signed the League. Speaking of League of Monster Slayers. Felt gravity, I can taste your dreams. I can never actually read that, but I know what it is. It's a reference to the sheriff's daughter being hot. You're the boogeyman. Don't believe anything they tell you. Your mother. Only dead fish follow the stream. Yes, Arlie. Well then. I absolutely love this section here, not only for being bizarre, but because of the way they tied this into the game. Because for those who don't know, this was originally, they were just playing around with the game engine here. It wasn't originally supposed to be a complete game. They did a lot of playing around with physics. I know. I think like every interview I hear Joel on, he is so super excited about how they did all the rides here with physics, because that's something they can't really do in the engine they use for the Secret World. So in a way, this is screwing with physics, but I mean it works. Oh yeah, hi friend.
Don't touch me!
Callum, I'm sorry.
Future Times by Laurel and Howdy. Belly button is the signature of your personal creator. I believe her name was Mama. Every 70th child is magnet for sinfulness, made omniscient by broken fires in the coastal stream. We don't believe that the earth belongs to battered goats and shamrock afterbirth. Only the truly naked wrens of righteous indignation are severed by war-crossed cleavages in trust, exercise, arrhythmia. Beaumont will come to the island bearing the talisman, and he will shatter the seals that bind the orthodoxy of corruption. Only then will priests shoot, butts reveal, housewives pontificate, and delayed messiahs make axles for the rescue of Tango and Cash. Sweet the temptress who grips the shaft, twists the shaft, absconding with third age. Can't read it. Into fourth age darkness, while gods lie writhing on the shattered face of the earth. Gaia has sweetness and grace, but her days are numbered, and heavy-fisted hives break before frozen wills and graphic actresses and pencil and paper pornography. The all-seeing eye will provide decade-long updates on this story going forward. That's got a lot of Secret World in there, too.
Forgive me, Callum.
Keep them away from me.
Callum, I'm sorry.
Mommy, I'm scared.
Oh, God, no.
I wouldn't say Xanax, no. Xanax is very, very calming. Like being hit in the face with a soft, fuzzy, warm pillow. This is also, once again, in the 70s, so the meds that she's on, I can word, I promise. Even a lot of the drugs they give out these days can have some really not good side effects. And this was before they would have even been through as many trials as they have been now. I know that was something else that came up on Beyond the Veil, was people asking if some of the side effects of the pills are realistic. But the other thing you have to remember is that right here, it's not just about the pills, and it's not just about her mental health. It's also about the park itself and the spirit of the park itself, because that is its whole other thing. That's, you know, so it's a little bit of both.
The park is a collage of contradictions all of its own. Millions of people die every year in car crashes, and the park has little cars designed specifically to simulate that action. Hear the children scream with joy. In the sideshow alley, you can walk away with 15 cents worth of mass-produced Chinese teddy bears, while a grinning carny pockets your hard-earned $5. What secrets lie beneath the sullen waters of the lake? The tears of jilted lovers, the soiled condoms of illicit affairs, the clotted blood of the lonely suicide. And the face of the witch looms over it all. I always despised her toothy grin and warty nose. I hate that sparkle in her weathered, watchful eyes. I think Callum is waiting for me. Inside. This isn't a game, Callum! Callum? Callum!
first time I played this before I went in here, I took another entire run around the park. Partly to make sure I didn't miss anything, and partly because I didn't really particularly want to go in. And continuity, we picked up a flashlight earlier.
Leave me alone. Please, don't make me see.
Done. Atlantic Island Park has closed its gates. A jeering throng of townsfolk gathered as we hung the heavy iron padlock on the gates. Small-minded fools, scared of what they don't understand. My machines lie silent and dejected, but I am not beaten. I have sent my wife and son back to Boston, and I have retreated here to the House of Horrors. I must think.
Who was that? Don't leave me.
Oh, it's up there.
Show yourself. Don't leave me.
I was talking to Joel about that. He deliberately made these ones literal cardboard cutout jump scares. You know, he did that on purpose to kind of poke fun at the jump scare thing, and we're talking about it. I'm like, Joel, they still got me. And he's like, well, yeah, they were made to do that too, but... I know, right? Like, I've played this before, but you get just enough into the mood of it. This is also specifically a cardboard cutout of one of the vampires in the Secret World. All the cutouts are Secret World enemies. Which, again, like, you don't need to know that to look at this and know something's wrong. But as somebody who plays the Secret World, you're like, oh my god, that is awesome. Oh yeah, and I'll do that more than once.
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
They did an excellent job with their quote-unquote cardboard cutout jump scares.
Who was that? Leave me alone. Give it to me! Show yourself! God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Don't believe them.
Thank you, Callum. That was super helpful.
Where is my boy?
Turn around.
Leave me alone!
Mommy, don't hide.
And can I mention I double love it because I'm playing this with my mouse. So if I twitch, everything goes like that.
Don't make me look at it.
Don't let him take me.
Well, if you just stayed with Mommy from the beginning,
What
we
have you
wouldn't
done
be
with
in
him?
this mess now, would we?
Don't touch me.
What have you done with him?
Look out.
Please, don't make me see. I'm a horrible mother. Where is he? Don't leave me! I'm a horrible mother. Where is he?
This right here. I don't remember if we ever got confirmation about if it was on purpose or not, but this right there, that looks like filth. Filth in context to the secret world. Like, I know it's just pipes, but you get that little sheen off of it. I know I'm going the wrong way.
Show yourself?
I love the detail they put into this. There, see, I only jumped a little.
Stop!
Thank you for your cardboard cutout scares, Joel. Thank you for your cardboard cutout scares. Incidents, and I cannot dismiss them as random chance. The park works, but something is interfering with its intended function. It's as though the very air in this place is corrupting the power even as I collect it. A few casualties here and there are acceptable, but when employees go on stabbing rampages, it draws attention. I'd rather not have the boys in blue, either kind, investigate this place too closely. It's a shame about Steve. I rather liked him. Either kind. Oh, believe me, hon, if the Illuminati knew about this, we would have been off your butt. Okay, well, maybe not. If it was profitable to do so.
Where is my boy? Don't make me look at it.
Am I going the right way or am I going backwards?
I'm a horrible mother. Where is he?
I was going backwards. They've done similar things, just, you know, with the flashlight and claustrophobic hallways in the secret world, and I tell you, I'm not actually a very claustrophobic person, but it can be so very effective when you know you can't see everything around you.
Please, don't make me see.
And then I'm not actually sure if that relates to the secret world. That's right. There's that too. This is why I waited to do my second playthrough live. It's never going to be quite as good as the first time, but...
Given to me! God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
And an elevator. We have Nightmare Circus. The circus burns to the ground on opening night, killing dozens. The owner is put to death by an enraged mob of townsfolk just as he shouts out a curse. Now Raven, our dark-souled wanderer, comes to the ruins at dusk in search of his missing mother. Let the show begin. I am picking these up for a reason.
After they let me out, they gave me Callum back and sent me home with a handful of breadcrumbs. Home, bittersweet home. I barely recognized it. Where there had been color and light, there were shadows and regrets. Where there had been warmth, there was a bone-deep coldness that never went away. I tried my hardest to keep the ghosts at bay. Don, watching from the dusty corners while I tried to teach his son to read. My father, coldly assessing me and finding me lacking. I devoted myself to Callum and did the things that they told me. It will get better, they said. Every day will be a little better than the last. I'm in the woods now, lost and afraid. Things never got any better.
Yeah, this is where it starts getting really dark in a very real way. Disconnect notice. After multiple attempts to collect payment, we regret to inform you that your service has been disconnected or will be disconnected shortly. Please do the following: make the payment listed on your last bill, contact us on 555-7868 and we can arrange a payment plan so that you can immediately be reconnected. If you believe that this is an error, call us on 555-7869 to discuss your options. If you're unable to make payment, please contact your local welfare office to discuss a placement for you and your loved ones. Winter in Maine is cold and brutal. Don't face it without electricity. I should also note this is the kind of storytelling that, again, I can't help comparing it to The Secret World. I mean, it's Funcom, Joel worked on it. Telling a story through bits and pieces. Like, you pick that up and you know what's going on. All you need to do is pick up a disconnect notice. Okay, shocking true story, Hunger. True story of the Donners. On April 16th, 1846, a group of covered wagons began the 2,500-mile journey to California. Just 8 months later, they found themselves stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountains with very little to bite or sup. It was to become one of the greatest tragedies of westward migration that the world had ever seen. Now our panel of Donner experts have uncovered compelling evidence that the families were forced to resort to cannibalism in order to survive that terrible winter. In this never-before-seen expose, read about how the Donner children were forced to eat their brothers and sisters in order to survive. All here in the pages of this shocking true story.
What have you done with him?
Oh crap, is that the townie hat that you get? I'm such a Secret World dork. Oh, I never picked this up this early before. Yeah, the things I'm picking up, there's a purpose. Aww. We have the wilting. Solar flare has struck the Earth. Millions of people are uprooted from their homes. A young meteorologist searches desperately for a way to stop global overheating. And an exotic dancer named Chance O'Hara is the key to saving the world again. Oh, it's a dentist. Shopping list. Milk, cheese, bread, butter, corn, potatoes, apples, fish sticks. Remember, drop off Callum, electricity bill, fix faucet. And I'm so sad that we can examine the wrench, but we can't fix the faucet.
Who was that?
Lorraine, I received your letter, and I am quite surprised. You ran off with your father all of those years ago, then disappeared off the edge of the map, and then when I finally tracked you down, refused to answer any of my letters. And now you write to me asking for help. I have another family now and another life. Your father was a horrible man, and I regret the years that I wasted with him. I loved you, I truly did, but every year you grew more and more like him. You were his girl, never really mine. Still, I would have fought for custody if you hadn't run away with him. It broke my heart, but I needed to go on living. I can't let you back into my life without picking open old wounds. I'm sorry, Lorraine, but I just can't do that. Maybe one day it will be easier and I can meet Callum, but not yet. I am not ready to forgive you. Please don't contact me again, Karen. Miss Mallard, as we agreed in our meeting today, we consider you fully recovered from your illness. This letter is official notification that you are considered sound of mind and body and may return to work at any time. Please note that you should discontinue any medication that you have been using and dispose of any remaining medicines. If you feel at any time that you are suffering a relapse, then please make contact with your local physician immediately. We wish you continued good health.
Stop! What have you done with him?
Miss Mallard, our inquiry into the estate of Mr. Donald Williams, if you'll remember, that's Callum's father, into the estate of Mr. Donald Williams has been completed. We regret to inform you that the primary beneficiaries of his estate, including the life insurance settlement for accidental death, were listed as Rose Williams and Richard Williams of New York State, the deceased parents. Our agency made contact with Mr. and Mrs. Williams and explained your situation, especially as regards the birth of Donald's son, Callum. Unfortunately, they were not receptive to our overtures, and they specified that without any legal proof of a biological relationship, they consider you ineligible to receive any of the monies from Donald's estate. They have asked that we no longer contact them regarding this matter. I understand that this may have a negative impact on your current financial situation, and I hope that I am not being too forward when I enclose the bill for our services with this letter. Oh, another emergency services. Lorraine seems to be suffering from depression that began early in her pregnancy. Our discussions have made it obvious that these episodes stem from the grief of losing her partner, Dawn, who died about 6 months ago. There are also several unresolved issues with her father. After being kept under careful observation, we provided standard treatment for this disorder, including electroconvulsion therapy. The patient responded and made a rapid recovery. Aftercare is weekly follow-up with the local physician and mood stabilizers, lithium-based. Lorraine has a newborn son, Callum, who was placed in foster care shortly after birth when Lorraine displayed symptoms of disorientation and depression. It is our judgment that Lorraine is fit to have her son returned to her, and as long as she follows her recommended aftercare routine and continues with her medication, we have faith that she will be an effective caregiver. Lorraine has her own housing, and her employer, Susie, has said that she is welcome to return to her shifts at the diner. Norma Creed, a local woman, has offered to care for Callum while Lorraine works. It is with this support network in mind that we feel confident releasing Lorraine from this institution. Medical instructions, a prescription for Zolift, not Zoloft, Zolift. It can be filled at Flagg's Pharmacy in Kingsmouth. She has been advised to start with a 50 milligram dose and then based on the advice of her doctor to increase the medication as needed. This right here is huge. A postpartum depression is not something that a lot of people talk about, and I don't just mean in games. It's a huge thing. Obviously, I don't have my own kids, but to be a mother suffering postpartum depression, and especially when society says they're supposed to be so happy that you've had your kid, and la 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 la, there are so many women who are never treated, who don't even realize that maybe they could receive treatment. They get not good treatment. Here, you know, the electroshock therapy obviously did not do wonders for Lorraine. So yeah, just this is where I start really the game starts really hitting me for more than, you know, stereotypical normal horror reasons.
Show yourself! Don't leave me!
And we're back. And this time she has her prescription. And Flagg's Pharmacy, yes. Yes, that would be a reference to Randall Flagg. Flagg's Pharmacy is in Kingsmouth. And Nightmare Circus, which now says, the park kid was a waitin' on a child for taken, using joy for baitin' while their mother's mind is breakin'. Analgesia win. Lorraine, things aren't right between us at the moment, I know. I want to try and explain it. I think it is because I'm so far from home and I'm working so hard. Every day working at the park, it gets worse, like a spring inside my mind widening tighter and tighter and tighter. When we go for drinks after work, it gets a little better. The guys relax and we laugh, and we're good people again. I don't want to come home to you without being in my right mind. But when this job is done, we need to get out of this place. We need to go back to the city where I don't feel like this anymore. I love you, Donald. P.S. I was thinking about names for boys and girls. I like Callum for a boy, and Emma if it is a girl. Yeah, secret world geeking there with Emma. I kinda tend to be wrapped up enough in Lorraine by now that, yeah. Hunger, the shocking story of, I'm gonna say that wrong. In the spring of 1933 in Soviet Ukraine, an entire population found themselves without food. Over the course of the coming months, the situation grew critical and reports of mass malnutrition began to filter into the upper echelons of government. The people had been left with very little to bite or sup. It was to become one of the greatest tragedies of mass starvation that the world had ever seen. Now our panel of Soviet experts have uncovered compelling evidence that the families were forced to resort to cannibalism in order to survive that terrible winter. In this never-before-seen expose, read about how the starving parents cooked and ate their own children in order to survive. All here in the pages of this shocking true story. And we can't pick up the hat right now. We have letters here, where there weren't letters before. And the wilting. You notice Lorraine's name is jammed in there. A solar flare has struck the Earth. Millions of people are uprooted from their homes. A young meteorologist searches desperately for a way to stop global overheating, and an exotic dancer named Lorraine is the key to saving the world again. Shopping list. Milk, cheese, bread, butter, corn, potatoes, apples, fish sticks, Zolift prescription, remember. Take the pills, follow up with Dr. Spencer, organize babysitter for Callum. I didn't see that last time I played. I heard the door, but I didn't see Callum. Anyway, yes, puzzle. Spoiler alert. It'll be puzzled out by the end. And you notice the place we're walking in is a little more beat up. or the chicken is old.
Don't leave me!
One little duck went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck said quack, 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 quack. But no little ducks came back.
And that right there was one of the things that broke my heart. This is the letter where her mom had said, you know, I don't want to talk to you. You ran away on me. I'm not going to help you out with Callum when you need me. You know, don't contact me again, and you have over it. I didn't run away. Dad took me. And this is the weird scribble. Thank you, William, for the new watch. It is very nice. It has made me a happy carrot. It's the same notice where Dawn's parents aren't going to help her out. And a little more beat up.
I'm a horrible mother. Where is he?
I forgot I did that. And Nightmare Circus. A chipmunk goes a stab, stab, stabbin', in the eyes a jab, jab, jabbin', and all the townies gab, gab, gabbin'. Just lie down and let it happen. Do we have more pill bottles? Oh yeah, and that.
Leave me alone.
And that letter ripped up. Hunger is the story of Hansel and Gretel now. A long time ago, in a forest in the woods, there lived a woodcutter, his wife, and his two children, a boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. They were very poor and had very little to bite or sup. This story has been doctored to hide the truth from the unsuspecting public. Now our panel of fairy tale experts have uncovered compelling evidence that Hansel and Gretel were in fact eaten alive. In this never-before-seen expose, read about how their parents inexpertly tried to cover it up by telling stories about a witch in a house made of candy. All here in the pages of this shocking fake story. I should note the little surrealism here with like the book text moving, or the book text changing, and this stuff in the background here. I do very much appreciate that in games too. Like I said, I get drawn more into Lorraine's story right here, but I do love a good... In actual nightmares, things change between one moment and the next. Oh, handprints.
Beautiful sound and no sound, people.
And we have the hat.
There she is. We'll have the greatest time in here.
It's coming together a little bit at a time, Arlie. You have seen her try. Her cry. Her lie. I'm actually not sure, Arlie. And I know I heard the story about actually recording it, and I don't remember what that story is either right now. Shopping list. Milk, Zolift prescription. Cheese, Zolift prescription. Bread, Zolift prescription. Butter, Zolift prescription. Corn, Zolift prescription. Potatoes, Zolift prescription. Apple, Zolift prescription. Fish sticks. Remember, more pills. Ticket to Atlantic Island Park. I think part of what kills me in here is that she's trying. Like, you can hear behind the stories, you can pick, you know, the pieces in between the notes. She's trying so hard.
Leave me alone!
This, Arlie, is actual Death's Book. History of Solomon Island. Kingsmouth Publishing.
Show yourself?
The boogeyman goes a walkin', sneakin', stealin', a stalkin'. Is he really a talkin'? Now is not the time for balkin'. Cerebral cortex when my dog walked into the room just out of the corner of my eye while I was reading that. Thanks, Loki. So yeah, and there's this. Hunger, the story, and just the other way. The woodcutter is dead, the witch always wins. The woodcutter is dead, the witch always wins. The woodcutter is dead, the witch always wins. The witch always wins. All here in the pages of this broken story.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
A sun will strike the earth, millions of cattle are uprooted from their homes, a young shadow searches desperately for a way to stop global domination, and an exotic dancer, listen Lorraine, is the key to saving the world again. Dynamic, exciting, irrepressible, everything we've come to expect. Answer us, Lorraine, novel. Lorraine we are watching, you better believe that she is bigger, better, and bolder than ever. Mother Duck doesn't say moo. Mother Duck says quack, 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 quack. My two best friends, Dawn and Laura. We talked about this picture when Joel was on the show too, because all of us, when we were looking at this, went, "Oh, shit! Did they like run away and cheat on her?" And no, he didn't mean for this picture to make it look like her best friend and Dawn were having an affair. That wasn't the way that picture was supposed to look. But you know, at this point, you've gone through enough levels of this that you're like, I'm sure if there was any way for Lorraine's life to get shittier, I'm sure it would have happened at this point. Shopping list is now all full of Zolift prescription. Remember, you are alone, nobody loves you, Callum is no longer who he once was. Bravo. And you can see the burnt ripped up that used to be the I love you. Yeah, it is. It is the atmosphere of the game. You absolutely expect the worst of everything and everyone.
Give it to me!
Oh yeah, Miss Mallard, as we agreed in our meeting today, we consider you to be batshit fucking insane. Let's be clear, you are in no way sound of mind and body, and you are a danger to everyone around you. Please note that your only escape from this should be drugs. A shitload of them. Smoking, snorting, oral, intravenous, take them any way you can and as often as you can. That shit can only make your life better. In case there was any doubt, you are suffering a relapse and no one really cares. Nobody can help you now. Don't fuck this up. Oh, hey, Auroras. Oh, thanks. Thank you for the host. We were just discussing the fact that the atmosphere in this game quite correctly makes you expect the worst of everything. Everything and everyone. And that this was actually the point where the game really, really grabbed me. I keep calling it a movie, but this was the point where the game really grabbed me. When I really... I just feel so much for Lorraine. When you're watching through the notices as everything falls apart around her, and she keeps trying. And it keeps getting worse. Yeah, I hope she's imagining that letter too, Harley. I think... whether it's meant to be an actual physical letter or not, I think that is a wonderful way to get across the feeling of it when you're very, very deep into a depression. Even if a letter like that were to say something perfectly normal, in the depths of a very bad depression, you would take it that way. well, you should play TSW again. I would say that, though. I am a rather large fan of the game. But yeah.
Leave me alone.
The Secret World knows how to make a story that's very dark as far as supernatural things. Yes, exactly, Arlie, reading between the lines that aren't there, and assuming people think you're lost cause. But anyway, they're very good at the supernatural, but they're also very good at weaving it into actual real-world horrors. The horror of losing your mind, the horror of a depression that keeps getting worse, the horror of losing your child, not knowing where your kid is. Rain, I need you to focus on what we are discussing. The Chipmunk killer, Steve Gardner. He was locked away for what he did to those kids. Nathaniel Winter hasn't been seen in years, but he is nowhere near Atlantic Island Park. We've established this. You know this. Ask her why, and say bye-bye. Yeah, that score. Once again, especially if you're actually playing it by yourself in a dark room with headphones, like, you know what the score is doing, but it still does it. I can't speak. The sun will be devoured, all the cattle will be enslaved. The shadow lies on your future, our domination. If you listen, Lorraine, you are key to damning the world. We are irrepressible, you can only join us, Lorraine. Lorraine, we are one. This, we are talking, can you hear us, Lorraine? It's very reminiscent of the buzzing. Okay, so when I play, I am technically in a cabal. I'm technically in a cabal with, like, Chaosity 1. But I very rarely run with them. I run with some of the folks from the Beyond the Veil podcast, and I sometimes run with Otterdown. And if I'm not running with those guys, then I'm usually running with random people from Sanctuary Chat. Actually, if I actually do group stuff, if I'm not with Janet over in Otterdown, I'm usually pulling people out of Sanctuary Chat. So that's another really good way if you're kind of scoping out cabals and to still have people to play with. Sanctuary are good people. And yes, Arlie, I am still in Chaosity 1's cabal, even though I never run with him, and he's the only one ever in game. Oh yeah, it's true. That's what the carrot milk boils down to. You watch me rot. There was another story behind that note writing that Joel was telling us in Beyond the Veil that I also don't remember. You know, when I throw this on YouTube, I should just throw in a link to the Beyond the Veil interview, shouldn't I?
Leave me alone! Show yourself?
Stories are told again and again, and from their shape we build our understanding of the world. Two children are led into the woods. They are lost for a time, but then are captured by an old witch. A child goes missing in Atlantic Island Park. He wanders lost for a time before finding his way into the mouth of an old witch. In the oldest version of this story, the mother and the witch were the same person. I never wanted to be the witch. But I am, aren't I?
I'm a horrible mother. Where is he?
Kids broke in today. It has been so long since I heard laughter. So very long. I took one of them. I couldn't help myself. It was fast. The others didn't notice. I liked hearing him laugh, this boy from the academy. I put him on a slab. I tickled him until he couldn't breathe. My machines came to life, whirring and tying to his gasps and shrieks. I think this is delightful. The change wrought in me by the machines is not yet complete. There must be other children I can lay on my slab. Yes, Arlie, stories are told again and again, changing, like a room with puzzles.
Don't make me look at it.
Eyes without sparkle. Oh, QBL Publishing. Speaking of Secret World stuff.
Show yourself! Stop!
And Hansel and Gretel. More pipes that look like felt.
Don't leave me! Callum. Callum! Callum. Callum. Callum!
Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine. Don't blame yourself, Lorraine. People lose things all the time. Take a deep breath and think about the last place you saw your son.
In my heart and mind, I always return to Atlantic Island Park.
There, Frida Wolf. That is the voice actress. But yes, Arlie, that is why, especially the parents who have played through this, tended to shut off their streams so quickly afterwards. That was another thing that we've gone back and forth about, talking on Beyond the Veil and talking in other places. Because it's hard to tell, and deliberately in the game, where the park's influence left off and where it was her own depression and where it was her own problems. And I guess there's been a few people who complained that they didn't like the way they wrote her character, in the depression angle and all that. I think a lot of it tends to be whether or not it rings true to your own experience, and or whether or not you can be open that other people have different experiences with mental health issues. Obviously, I have never killed somebody, but I have been in some very, very, very deep depressions, and some of her ways of reacting to people, even if it's not exactly my story, it rings true to me. And I know Joel has talked a lot about how he wanted it to ring true. He didn't want it to come off as a stereotype mental illness character. Speaking of that space bug, and spoilers for anyone who didn't play, what mission is it? The Seven Silences? That was the Secret World mission that was released in conjunction with the park. Arlie, I don't know if you got to play that one or not. It might have been a little too high level for you, but if you don't mind spoilers. Yeah. Or So Wrong It Can't Be Real, yeah. And to me, even once again, even in my worst depressions, I was also not at a freaking paranormal park full of evil that was working on influencing me. So, I have that to my advantage. But the Secret World one, if you haven't played and if you don't mind some spoilers on it, you don't know at the beginning that it's about Lorraine. I mean, if you've played the park, you pick up on it pretty fast. But what winds up happening is the council implants that bee into her, which isn't supposed to happen. The bees are supposed to go into Gaia's chosen ones. You're not supposed to force somebody to take a bee. It sounds lame to say it's not good for them, but it's not good for them. And as you go through her missions, she has been working very, 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 very hard for years to try to be the first successful bee suicide. And put that together with having played through this, and I played the Secret World mission literally right after the first time I played this game. Played through this, all the emotions from this went into the Secret World mission, where you're going through her backstory in the Secret World of her trying so hard to kill herself when bees are supposed to be immortal. And it's, oh, yeah. I hate that phrase, the feels, but the feels. Oh yeah, there's that too, Arlie. I had a roommate up in the cities. She was very short. And she had the stereotype, what's supposed to be the impossible figure. She had a big chest, she had a little waist, she had little tiny feet, but that was her body type. Yeah, Funcom does like to leave some things to the imagination. Man, I totally forgot until I played through this here that I did. I played the Secret World one right afterwards, and it was just kind of, oh man. I'm gonna have to do this again. I will try not to play the park again until the next time the 7 Seconds is up in the Secret World, and then I'll have to play them back to back on stream. Because that's, yeah. But there we have the park. I thought they did a really good job with it. It didn't really need to be a longer game. They kept it to a good length. They got their sorry, the thing I was gonna say earlier, but I didn't want to spoil it. Some other complaints that they've gotten about the game is that people saw it coming. At one point or another, they started putting things together, and they expected the end. For one thing, that's impressive, because I play the Secret World. I'm used to dark endings, and I didn't even really see it coming. In that last split second, where she plunges the ice pick down, and they hold that camera angle for a second, I was hoping so hard because I thought she'd stabbed herself. But Joel had said that that was kind of the point of the game, because one of the worst horrors in life is seeing where something's going to go. And you're seeing it happen, and you're seeing that it's going to be this, horrible thing, and yet you can't stop it, or you don't know how to stop it. That's the horror in real life. I think the example he used is, you're in a car accident, and yet the instant you lose control, you know where it's going to end. It's not a surprise. But that knowing that there's nothing you can do about it, that's the kind of horror that he was going for. And I think they did it. Even though I didn't necessarily see the end, point to point per se, you could see that it was heading someplace dark. You could see that the way it was set up, like there wasn't going to be a happy ending here. And you keep kind of hoping there will be, but it's not set up. Yeah, some of us, like we've got that last little hope at the end that, well, maybe he's not actually there, or, maybe, all of this darkness that I can see filtering through, maybe that's not how it's going to happen. Maybe something's going to come out better at the end. Oh. I totally would love to keep streaming, and I would love to actually jump into the Secret World now, but I also actually have to work again tomorrow. So I suspect I should probably cut this short tonight. Maybe try to stream something tomorrow. But thank you for hanging out. Yes, exactly, Arlie. I'm getting stream lag. But that specific camera angle, and again, when we had Joel on the interview, I told him, like, that camera angle, the way they held it was so perfect, because I had, those couple seconds where it looked like maybe she stabbed herself. Maybe she did the whole, she got out of it by killing herself instead. Yes. I will go rest. I will work. God, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Arlie. I really am. I'm glad you were here. Well, maybe I might actually be able to stream again tomorrow, because then the next day I don't work again until 8. But everybody have a lovely night. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you later. Take